I want to start by thanking the Minister, Mr. Michalis Kontos, for having given us the honor to come and give a keynote speech. I think it's extremely important because the PPC meetings are there to bring together politicians, people who decide, and people who think, or at least they're supposed to think tankers and academics. So we're very pleased to have you here. My second big thank you goes to the mastermind behind all of this, with the help of the TEPSA Secretariat, and this is Andreas Theophanous, who is the founder of the Cyprus Center for European and International Affairs. And from a conversation yesterday, I have the impression he has a lot of ideas, yeah. And I hope he will continue sharing them with us. I want to thank the Cyprus University because they host us and they are also actively involved, the Cyprus Forum. And last but not least, I wanted to say thank you to our Norwegian member, institute, it's called NUPI, because they have generously helped organize this and finance it. Now, PPCs are a fixture in the European calendar. Actually, TEPSA, which is a network of think tanks and universities, was actually founded more than 50 years ago. So we are not a new kid on the block. And one of the things we have always been doing was pre-presidency conferences in the country of the presidency. When I talk about presidency, of course, as you're all experts, we're talking about not the presidency of the Union, but the presidency of the Council of the Union. It is a moment for collective reflection, as I said, between decision makers, politicians, practitioners, think tankers, and university academic people, and of course, the public. And we're always pleased when people from the public participate. Now, the rotating presidency is a slightly odd thing. You know, it's a bit odd that we have this system of rotating presidencies every 6 months. People say it's a problem of continuity. It's not really. I'm a strong defender of the system. First of all, because it shows the diversity we have in the EU, the richness of our diversity. It shows equality between the member states, because all the member states get a chance to chair the Council, I'm sorry. It's also a show of ownership for the member states. And lastly, I would say a presidency does not happen in isolation. Presidency, as Mr. Minister, you will find out, is supported by the General Secretary of the Council. It works with the Commission. It works with the member states, a very important body like the Committee of the Permanent Representatives and all of that. So you will have a lot of help. It is, of course, a huge challenge for every country, and maybe particularly so for a small country. But I will say immediately that my whole experience shows me that presidencies from small countries tend to be rather good. Now, I say this also because I am a Luxembourger, so I would say it, wouldn't I? But I talk about something I know, and small countries, why are they very good? Because they have shorter chains of command. They don't have overblown egos. Some do, not the smaller countries. They know their place, but they are there to service. And so very often they have something to offer. Now, Cyprus is small, but Cyprus has a lot to offer. First of all, I think you are situated at the crossroads of 3 continents. Everybody meets in Cyprus, and this is something which I think is very important, to keep the dialogue with everybody, and you do this very well. You are, of course, also the cradle of an ancient civilization, which helps, I think. You are also, unfortunately, a divided country. We are not very far from the line which separates this part from the north. This I consider also as a security problem for Europe, and I think the Europeans maybe do not talk enough about this. And they should consider this as their problem as well. My hope, I would say today, is that at the latest for the next Cyprus presidency, I would very much hope that it will happen with a reunified Cyprus. I think this is very important for Europe and for you. Now, the program today reflects very well the enormous challenges the EU and Europe is facing today. We have geopolitical challenges, and The first panel will talk about the EU as a global partner. The second panel will talk about security. Security in a wider sense, because it's not just military security, it's also migration and many other issues, internal security and all of that. And thirdly, enlargement, which is of course a geopolitical issue of huge importance. Then, of course, we have policy-oriented problems, and therefore we'll have panels or plenaries, on socioeconomic issues, very important. The balance between growth and distribution and all of this, so very important, and I hope we'll find out a lot about this. We have energy, obviously a huge problem for Europe. Cyprus, again, is pretty well placed in this as far as energy is concerned because of your waters. The Green Deal. And lastly, we have a societal and political problem, and that is democracy. Because democracy, Western democracy, is under siege everywhere in the world, including in some parts of the European Union. And it's something which particularly the TEPSA network does a lot of work about and studies, because it is vitally important. And many of the things which happen in the world today are particularly challenging for the EU because they go against our DNA of cooperation, of rules-based system, of the rule of law, generally speaking, open trade and all of that. So it's doubly important that we get this right. So I will conclude by saying that I very much enjoyed the Cyprus presidency in 2013 because I was still active and very actively involved. I came to Cyprus several times. And that was also a time when the Cyprus presidency had to, not to conclude, but to help prepare a deal on the MFF at the time. Well, Mr. Minister, you're now exactly in the same situation. It's a huge responsibility. You'll have a lot of work, but it's fascinating. So I wish you good luck, a lot of luck. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your insightful opening reflections. I now invite Professor Andreas Theophanous, President of the Cyprus Center for European and International Affairs, to deliver his welcome address.
Honorable Minister, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this important event in Nicosia on behalf of the Cyprus Center for European and International Affairs. It is indeed an honor to co-organize for the first time the Cypriot Presidency Conference in collaboration with the Trans-European Policy Studies Association, TEPSA. Our last comparable initiative was jointly held with the French Institute Notre Europe in 2012, and we are delighted to continue this important tradition in partnership with TEPSA. The conference convenes at a pivotal moment for Europe and the international community. The Russian invasion of Ukraine in February 2022 and the ongoing war have not only brought immense human suffering, but have also been testing the foundations of the international order. At the same time, developments in Gaza and the broader Middle East have generated deep concerns about future prospects in this extremely volatile region. The dynamics in the relations between the United States, the European Union, and Russia remain central to global affairs. I think that with pragmatism, challenges can be addressed effectively and in ways that European security and prosperity are enhanced. Holding this conference here in Cyprus is particularly meaningful. Cyprus remains the only member state of the European Union with 37% of its territory under Turkish occupation since 1974. Yet, developments related to Cyprus have not always received the attention they deserve, as it was already mentioned. It is regrettable that negotiations for addressing the problem have often focused primarily on the bicommunal dimension of the problem, neglecting its broader European and international aspects, including the continued occupation and the challenges of hybrid threats. I will refrain from elaborating further at this stage, but I'm sure you understand that this issue cannot be ignored, and the politics and practices of double standards cannot continue. The conference program reflects the complexity and interconnectedness of the challenges Europe faces today. We begin with the positions of the Cypriot government and TEPSA's recommendations and perspectives regarding the objectives of the trio presidency, Poland, Denmark, and Cyprus. These will be followed by 2 sessions exploring whether the European Union can truly become a global power and how it responds to evolving security challenges. Indeed, when we discussed the program and the TEPSA Secretariat suggested to put this as a session, I said, we'll do it, but with a question mark, because we are far from being actually a strong global actor in the traditional way of its definition. Tomorrow's discussion will address additional pressing themes: the prospects of further enlargement, the state of democracy in Europe, and the role of citizens in shaping the Union's future, the socioeconomic paradigm of the European Union. And by the way, what are the results, the socioeconomic results of the current paradigm in the last 10, 15 years? This is a major question. And the dual imperativeness of green transition and energy security. These topics are not only timely, but central to the sustainability and legitimacy of the European project. At the same time, we cannot overlook the economic realities that shape the daily lives of the citizens of the European Union, and particularly the younger generations. Across Europe, including Cyprus, young people continue to face significant socioeconomic challenges. The European Union should reconcile its socioeconomic paradigm and its declared objectives so that the trust and the commitment to the European project are enhanced. This is particularly important given that despite its problems, and I underline that, most people in the world today would prefer to live in the European Union. And I underline that. I'm confident that the exchanges over the next 2 days will be rich, stimulating, and forward-looking. They will combine academic insight with policy analysis, providing both reflection and direction as Cyprus prepares for its forthcoming presidency. I express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the TEPSA Secretary General, Mr. Jim Cloos, and the entire TEPSA team for their collaboration. To the University of Nicosia, to the European Commission, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Cyprus, the Norwegian Institute of International Affairs, and the Cyprus Forum, and to all the distinguished speakers and participants joining us from across Europe. It would be an omission not to express my thanks to Stiliana and Mary. Without them, this would have been difficult or impossible to take place without their support. Let us see the opportunity to exchange perspectives and reflect on how Europe can respond effectively to the complex challenges ahead. I thank you all and look forward to a fruitful and successful conference. Thank you.
And lastly, we will now hear the introduction remarks of Dr. Michalis Kontos, Associate Head of the Department of Politics and Governance here at the University of Nicosia.
Honorable Deputy Minister of Migration and International Protection, Your Excellency, Ambassador of Serbia, distinguished guests, dear colleagues and friends, good afternoon. On behalf of the Department of Politics and Governance of the University of Nicosia, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the UNESCO Amphitheater for the TEPSA Cypriot Pre-Presidency Conference titled Reshaping Europe in an Age of Uncertainty here in Nicosia. A special welcome to our colleagues who have traveled from across Europe and beyond to be with us in Cyprus. We're proud to co-organize this event with the Trans-European Policy Studies Association and the Cyprus Center for European and International Affairs. We are grateful for the support of the European Union, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Cyprus, the Norwegian Institute of International Affairs, and the Cyprus Forum. Your partnership allows us to bring together research, policy, and public engagement in a focused and constructive way. This conference is timely. Cyprus will assume the presidency of the Council of the European Union in January 2026. TEPSA's pre-presidency process offers a channel for evidence-based ideas to reach those who will carry responsibilities in the months ahead. Over these 2 days, we will consider issues like Europe as a global actor, the security landscape, the Green Deal, the future of democracy in Europe, and other issues of high significance. And we will do so with an eye to practical recommendations that can inform the trio presidency of Poland, Denmark, and Cyprus. As we move to the main part of the conference, I would encourage 3 commitments. First, clarity about goals, instruments, and trade-offs, since credibility grows when ambitions match capacity. Second, cooperation across communities, since security, economic resilience, and democratic trust are connected and require shared effort. Third, a focus on implementation, since recommendations are most useful when a ministry, a city, a business, or a civil society partner can act on them. Cyprus, positioned in the Eastern Mediterranean, fills the intersection of Europe's internal debates and its external environment every day. The University of Nicosia perfectly addresses the dynamics that stem from this intersection, willing rigorous scholarship to the real policy challenges and institutions and citizens face. Our rapid ascent in global ranking and ongoing expansion, including our recent move to Athens, are perfectly coupled with our commitment to advancing research on emerging global challenges. The Department of Politics and Governance, part of the School of Law, with a decades-long tradition on European studies and rapidly growing expertise on Eastern Mediterranean and Middle East politics, constitutes its main pillar of engagement with EU-related affairs. We offer programs of study in all 3 cycles of higher education. The research produced by the Department of Politics and Governance aims to address the nature, causes, and impact of socio-political and economic phenomena by focusing on specialized areas of academic inquiry, using a broad range of conceptual and methodological apparatuses, and adapting both disciplinary and interdisciplinary approaches. I hope our exchanges will be frank, respectful, and solution-oriented, and that they will contribute to TEPSA's tradition of actionable proposals ahead of each Council presidency. Let me close with words of thanks to our organizing teams at TEPSA, the Cyprus Center for European and International Affairs, and here at the University of Nicosia. I'm also grateful to our speakers, moderators, and participants for investing time and energy in this shared effort. To our guests from abroad, I hope you will enjoy Nicosia's hospitality during your stay. With that, it is my honor to welcome you to the University of Nicosia. I look forward to our discussions. Thank you.